code protecting? Lindahl continued. It seems Dr. Hess engineered a perfect shell, one that is small enough to penetrate any tissue, animal, plant, fungus. Its unusual size and nature might explain why it's so universally pathogenic. She nodded, remembering how the organism had sterilized the soil to a depth of 2 feet. But why did Hess create it? Lisa asked. What's its purpose? Are you familiar with EVLPs? Lindahl asked. She shook her head. We were discussing the subject just before you arrived, Edmund explained. It stands for empty virus-like particles. It's a new field of experimental study, where you strip the DNA out of the virus until only its outer shell remains. There are advantages to this in regards to vaccine production. She understood. Those empty particles would stimulate a strong antigenic or protective response without the risk of the vaccine agent making you sick. But that's the least of it, Lindahl said. Once you have an empty shell, you can build from there. Add organic or even inorganic compounds like those graphene fibers. And once you create that shell, Edmund added, you can fill it with whatever wonders or horrors you want. In other words, the perfect shell becomes the perfect delivery system. Lisa stared again at the face of that monster. What was hidden inside there? And do you think Dr. Hess accomplished something like that? Lisa asked. That he built this virion from scratch in his lab and put something inside it? Lindahl leaned back. We already have the technology. Way back in 2002, a group of scientists at Stony Brook synthesized a live poliovirus from nothing but chemicals and a known genetic blueprint. Edmund hummed. The project was sponsored by the Pentagon. Lisa heard the not-so-veiled accusation in his voice. Dr. Hess's work was funded by the military, too. Lindahl ignored the implication. And in 2005, a larger influenza virus was synthesized in another lab. In 2006, the same was accomplished with the Epstein-Barr virus, with the same number of base pairs as smallpox. But that's child's play compared to today. We can now manufacture organisms 100-fold larger and at a fraction of the cost. He snorted dismissively. You can even buy a DNA synthesizer on eBay. So, what exactly did Dr. Hess put in there? Lisa asked. Before anyone would hazard a guess, Lisa's radio buzzed. From the reactions of the other 2 men, they heard it too. It was Painter. The urgent stress in his voice quickened her heart. We just heard word from Yosemite, he reported. The suspected saboteur is dead. Dead? Lisa closed her eyes, thinking of Josh. Amy Serpry had been their only lead, the only way to discover more details about Dr. Hess's work. From the initial report, Painter continued, likely died of the same disease we're battling here. The National Guard, along with an outbreak response team, is en route to lock down the grounds around the Ahwahnee. We also possibly have new exposure victims, Ranger Beck and Gunnery Sergeant Drake, along with the Ranger's dog. Oh, no. Painter continued.